Well, you can't turn, little children can't turn their hatred towards what is now recreated them in the image. You need their love. And so now to get the love, you have to do what the change agent, the person who's horrified you, you're going to have to start pleasing them and getting new recruits. You take, so that the black population in America has been taught to be angry at the whites, but they can't do that because the white population is too big. They haven't been dumbed down enough yet. So therefore they have taken their frustration out on their own children and killing. It's a terrible black-on-black crime. So I saw two dogs in the way, and I just stood and watched them quietly, and then they turned on each other. See? So therefore they are self-destructing, but there's a danger whereby as white resistance starts to fade, as they start feeling guilty because they feel like they're made to feel the blame, they'll start to get soft. Then the hordes in the city will feel encouraged, emboldened to come out, and then you're going to have this terrible revolution, violence, this race war, which is being created. And purposely. And I'm saying to my black friends there, I say, now look. And I'm saying to my black friends there, I say, now look. I said, this is what's happening to you, and this is how they're doing it to you. And they're playing this game with your mind and using you as tools to self-destruct and to destroy this country. They don't care for you a bit. You need to turn on those leaders. You never do. You never turn on what destroys you. You turn around and destroy something weaker. See how that works? They're using that principle. No, I'm reversing that. Now, I've been doing that for years. Now we have black talk show conservatives sweeping the country, saying that the worst, I know you can't say it in America, this is what they say. They're friends of mine and they're brilliant talk show hosts. Brilliant. And they're saying, a lot of them are saying, the worst person you can elect is a black politician. See? Because they're just puppets of the white elitists. They don't care about you. See, they're predators like everyone else. But these are black people. See, they're predators like everyone else. But these are black people. Black conservatives that share the same values as Roy Masters, as all of you people here. If we could all become conservative, which means to conserve the values that we were brought up with, then there wouldn't be that division. Because those are real values. There wouldn't be that division. Because those are real values. Really true values that every race and color and creed can share. You have in Africa, South Africa, Chief Buthelezi. He's a Christian. He's a conservative. You got this other fella, communist. I mean, it's just the weirdest thing in the world for America to back communism. Let's see what we have as communism in America. But you see that the white forces and the black, they're teaming up over there. There's a certain teaming up, a camaraderie, conservative, moral. Even if you have tribal differences, as long as the ritual's only different, but the whole idea of those rituals is the same: family, love of God, country, truth, principles. It unites these conservative values, principles. It unites these conservative values. Unite every race and every color and every creed. See, they're valuable. Teaching people to live from within is to teach them to have the same God. And like Jesus said, in Him there is no Jew or Gentile or Greek. If you could live from your inner values, then you will not see color. You will not be prejudiced. You will not have judgment. You will not have hatred towards anyone. You can't be motivated. You can't be. Remember what I said early before, that hypnosis is an emotion I get control over you. Also praise. But hate is the motivating force of the demagogue. They'll transform you. They'll give you something to hate. And to allow you to give vent on something that's helpless. Like the Jews. Like Hitler did with the Jews. So, all these cowardly people who never can stand up to their parents and whoever it is that hurt them in their life, they have all this anger inside them, and instead of teaching them to cure the anger and be their own people, no, they whip up the anger to something innocent. They're always safe. Mothers beat frustration out on something innocent, something safe, because they can't deal with their boss. See? This country's in big, serious shape, and I don't want to, there's as much politics as I want to talk to you about, but I want to show you that there's a correlationship between your individual failures and the political landscape. And that those who want to destroy the country understand that. They'll cultivate your wounds. They'll cultivate your flaws. They'll glorify them. Your flaws. They'll glorify them. They'll teach you to blame rather than look at yourself. And then amplify your conflict so that you need the reassurances of your transmogrifier, your demagogue, your person. Yes, sir.
Hasn't that always been the case?
Oh, it's always been the case. No, nothing new about human nature. Nothing. Nothing, but except you've always been the victim and you've never understood what was being done to you.
Well, in my generation, my parents, after born of war, when they were in their teens, we had blitz. Blitz. 2 years previous, they used to say, this is it. That wouldn't happen, but it did. It's not known. But they came through the war and happened.
Well, you had a war. Just to carry that a little further, you had a little tiny wimp called Neville Chamberlain. That anybody with any brains could look at his form, Chamberlain. That anybody with any brains could look at his form and his shape and see wimphood. That man couldn't stand up to a fly. John Major, he's a cocksure. John Major, he's a cocksure little wimp. That's what he is. He knows. He pretends like he knows everything. He pretends like he's a conservative, but he acts like a wimp. And that's what I can see from across the sea. But you could see. Look, forgive me. I can tell wimps in this audience. I can pick them out. If I was a mugger, I know how to pick you out. Muggers do everything. She points to herself. No. Well, then you're not such a wimp. Then, if you can see, it's the wimp that can't see that they're wimp. There are people who have that look, and sociopaths can smell you a mile away. It's taken me years to smell you a mile away. It's taken me years and years and years and years to rise up and look at you from above. I don't mean to look down my nose at you, but to look at you from above the way sociopaths look at you from below. That's an easy one. And it was full of contempt. You emboldened them to attack you. Thank God no one's ever tried to mug me, and I've lived in Los Angeles for a long time, but a lot of people have been mugged. A lot of people I know, several times. A guy come up to me one day. He says to me, I came out of a restaurant with my wife, and he says to me, can you give me some money? I said, are you asking me or are you telling me? He said, I'm asking you. I said, no, you're a liar, you're telling me. He started getting mad. See, I control him. I had a fight with a whole gang one time, and I beat them all just because I wouldn't let him intimidate me. I intimidated him. Damn it! And he's used terrible words. I said, no, you're lying. You're telling me. Because you're going to be mad if I don't give it to you, right? And he started getting mad. He said, I'm not going to give it to you. So I'll kill you. I said, well, you'll have to kill me. Let's see you do it then. He walked away muttering to himself. Of course, I had a 380 special in my back pocket. It's always good to have a backup. You always carry a gun in Los Angeles.
There's something
Pardon?
How do you deal with idolatry?
Well, I've just been speaking the whole day about idolatry. That's what it is. I've been the whole day.
Yeah.
I've been talking to you about idolatry. Putting somebody on a pedestal.
Yeah, but because there's something that the government, I see, for instance, the US of A and
You're not making a clear question here.
look,
Save it for later.
no, and the other is two questions. You see, with regards to
Then ask me about you.
about
You don't practice idolatry. About you. You don't practice idolatry. Do you have anybody on a pedestal?
My focus is too much on the government, and there's something that is being focused on the government.
Well, but the point is, the focus, when you have a problem, you always look to somebody for an answer. See, the whole idea is to get you to look to us or government for an answer. But the people who give you the kind of people, look, let's talk about this in other ways so that it expands the idea, so that you see better. Your mom weakened you. She turned you against you. How many guys understand what I'm talking about? We're talking about guys now. Your mom turned you against your father and made you angry with your father, so you love her, and she would give you security. She'd give you, say, oh, he's a beast, and she'd understand you. She'd support your anger that she put in you towards your dad, who she set up to fail. Support your anger that she put in you towards your dad, who she set up to fail. See? She set him up to punish you because he says, when he left the house in the morning, don't give him any ice cream. And she turns around and says, go tell your dad. Yes, let's have some ice cream, right? So she makes them co-guilty with, right? Right. So she makes them co-guilty with, right? And so the father finds out, oh, the ice cream's missing. Did you eat some? No, lying. Oh, it's all right. Your mother makes excuses for the kids as though the kid's idea. It was the mother's idea. The kids did it. The dad gets mad with the kids, not with the mother. The mother set the kids up to fight with the father. He becomes raging angry because he's now more angry that doesn't realize he's angry at the kids. But he should be angry with the mother, but he doesn't know how to deal with the mother because he needs her for support, sex. See? In the kid system, the mother says to the kids, he's just a beast. He'll be all right one day, sort of. He's not such a bad fellow, really. Trying to say the opposite, tongue in cheek, But the thing is, Mama is supporting the rebellion. Is Mama is supporting the rebellion of the children against their father. But if you hate one, you're into the other. You're becoming dependent on You're becoming dependent on the wrong behavior being rewarded by mother. See? You're beginning to become lawless. It represents law and order in society. It's masculine. See? So the children now becoming rebellious, and mama is supporting that. Now you see. So you have a guy that hates his dad, and is spoiled by mom, and when he gets married, guess what? Him like his mother. And that's the one that's attractive. And that's the one that will... Now the seed has transferred itself. The next generation is guaranteed the same mess. You see, because the father is helpless. The mother's getting the power. He's giving in to her for the sake of security and support. He needs her love. See, now you cannot stand up to the tyrant. Now take it a different way. Mother is mean and cruel. She's the tyrant. At the same time, the father's a wimp. But the mother is always the one that's dishing out the identities. Because when the father that has the father in him, that is recognizable as the authority, the duly authorized authority that everyone should respect and honor and love because he loves the father he can't see. As the father you can see loves the father, he can't see, therefore he's the duly authorized authority. There's the order in the home. You destroy the child's relationship with their father, and you've changed their relationship with God. And the mother's got him. Whether she's seductive or cruel, whether she's sly or overtly wicked. Because children are born bonded to their mothers, not their fathers. They're born bonded to their mothers. That's where the sin comes in. And fathers bonded to their mothers. That's where the sin comes in. And fathers always marry women that support their spoiledness. You see? So the father is encouraging that kind of government on earth as it is in hell. That's the legacy. And so the mother is overwhelming and cruel. That are conforming don't have any direction unless they marry another strong woman when they get older. The strong woman is attractive because without that they have no identity. They have no direction in life.
Would you say that in the sense of Isaac and Rebecca then?
Huh?
Isaac and Rebecca, or Adam and Eve?
Oh, I don't know about Isaac and Rebecca. I don't know anything about that. But who understood what I just said? See? All I'm doing is recounting to you that you people, this country, the world is finished. It's absolutely only a matter of time. The inevitable is going to happen. You can be as smug and as complacent. You can be as English and as complacent. You can be as English and as you want.
Well, Jonah had a message for Nineveh.
No, do me a favor. Don't give me all the... I'll use the Bible quotes when I want to use the Bible quotes. Thank you very much, because you don't use them well. See? You know what you do is a turn-off to Christianity. I'm trying to turn them on and you're turning them off. Let me do that. Let me do that. Just keep quiet for a while. Let me do it. I just want to hear what your problems are. I want to know how religiously not knowledgeable you are. No, I understand that. Let me do it. Let me do it. See, forgive me. I have to put somebody in their place. I'll do it. How can you... Right. Right. And that's sad. You can't help him. So, in other words, you got your cancer under you got your cancer in remission now? Well, no, what you've not understood about me, you're supposed to have listened to me, and you still don't understand what I'm saying. I would say it takes a little while. What you haven't done is detached yourself from the problem. What you haven't done is detached yourself from the problem. Because unless you detach yourself from the problem, you're part of it. You were so upset, so I'm so devastated I got cancer from it. Well, serves you right. Basically, I mean, that's the... I mean, you violated rule number 1. Be upset. So how does being upset help you to save the 16-month-old?
No, it didn't. But
No, is it...
camel's back, I'm saying.
No, the straw that well, maybe you're saying it's the straw that broke the camel's back because you realize you're a camel. Rode all your life. And you don't want to be a camel anymore. And you don't want to be part of the problem anymore. So the first thing you have to do is detach yourself from the problem so it's not your problem anymore. If it's your problem, how can you solve it? If you're part of the problem, the extent... It's not possible, is it? So each one of you, as you grow older, if you love your children, for example, you have to love them in such a way as you detach yourself from them so they become free. Even my 2-year-old and my 1-year-old, I watch them in the different stages. I've got all kids different ages on them. You want to kiss on them. You want to suck on them because you need their life. Like a bunch of vampires we are. Some want to suck the life out of us. We want to suck the life out of our kids. The worst thing you can see when you go to a grocery store, supermarket in America, is little old ladies, oh, with a beautiful baby. The baby cringe. Right? You see these all sucking the people don't have life. They take life out of other people. And so if you want your children to be independent, you watch them. They don't like you kissing and hugging them. Well, we have signs in America on the back of automobiles hugging them. Well, we have signs in America on the back of automobiles. Have you hugged your kid today? My kids don't want to be hugged. It embarrasses. We want to hug because we want something from them. But you see, that's what they know it too. Oh, let mommy hug you. Give mommy a kiss. There's not a lot of nonsense. Know it too. Oh, let mommy hug you. Give mommy a kiss. That's not a lot of nonsense. See, it's just a lot of nonsense. The kids, when my grandkids want to hug me, they'll come up, put their arm around me, and I hold them a little bit. Hi, Grandpa, and they just sort of put their arm around me, and I don't act like, oh boy, I was so glad you came. I needed that. See? I just hold them, pat them. I'm not taking anything from them. I'm letting them whatever they want from me, they can have it. I'm not getting anything from them, but it's my pleasure to give them. All right? And then they're happy after a minute or so. They just go on and play. See? There's none of this excessive display of emotion. This is disgraceful. This is creating the dependency, emotional bonding between grandmother or mother, whatever it is, and the child never is free. It's a sick grandmother or mother, whatever it is, and the child never is free. It's a sick kind of love. But our vampirish natures only understand that sick kind of love. You know, if you just watch people, I've watched people. I'm a fairly distinguished-looking fellow. It wasn't for my belly, but otherwise, a fairly distinguished fellow. And I just watch people looking at me as if I was maybe some film star or some business tycoon. I can just looking at the light that's trying to latch onto me in some way. People want to latch onto you. They want to pull something from you. They want to pull a favor. They want, they want a job, a position. Yeah. So if you love people, you're going to somehow set them free. But you can't be part of the problem and expect your child falls down. Your child falls down. There's a huge gash in his leg, needs stitches. The blood is running out. You don't go, you don't do that, do you? Or try to smile and pretend like you're not scared. Like Mary Poppins. I like Mary Poppins. She's a fun person and she was firm. You dress the room and you're calm. The child, you project calm into the child. You encourage the child to deal with it with dignity as you deal with it. But if you are reacting emotionally, the child's going to react, and you're robbing that child of dealing with stress in a way that makes him noble. See? And you also have to, the same token, you can't make excessive displays of love and make that child think that is where love is coming from. Love is in their hearts. Only when you found, look what you do. You love in all the wrong places. You search all your life, turning up, leaving no stone unturned, looking for something, that elusive something. It's love in the world. You bow, you scrape, you do a little soft shoe, you stood. The loving and being loved, doing things for nice people is only corrupting them to see you in a certain light. You're fooling them. And by the same token, you're fooling yourself. You make them think that you're wonderful, and you do. You succeed in fooling them. And they do think you're wonderful, and you think you are wonderful. Lie complete. But just you have a latent dissatisfaction with your life. I had a lady come to see me one time. She was a very rich lady. And she was very dignified, but she has tremendous anxiety. And everybody loved her. She went to all the garden parties and all the flower shows. I have a few there in America. And she had lots of money and gave lots of money to charity. And I said, the reason why you're in the world. I said, no, I don't mean that. I said, you've got the wrong kind of love. That's why you have conflict. You have to make do with it. You've been so successful in getting it, and you are the pillar of the community, but you're as miserable as hell, because that's not the love that will make you a whole. Because that's not the love that will make you a whole person. The more you get that love, the more dissatisfied you become, the more you have to enslave yourself and put on that little la-di-da show of greatness and goodness and magnanimity to draw attention to yourself in a way that you feed off of it, to draw attention to yourself in a way that you feed off of it. Well, she got very angry with her and never saw her again. So I told her she was a phony. I don't know what happened to her, but I think it was one of my unsuccessful clients. What's wrong with you? You're all the same way. To some degree, aren't you? And don't you, how many people here know that they bow and scrape and sort of have a false niceness that they have to be nice to them? Do you know what I'm talking about? You want to talk? Anybody want to give me an example of what you do that I just described?
Right, I used to be a bit like that. Well, a lot like that. That's great. I used to put this front on, not just it's just like acceptability. And now if someone likes you, you sort of feel good. And
You do things to be accepted, don't you?
Yeah, and it's to you get some sort of feedback off someone. As you say, it's like acceptance. But over the years, I've sort of looked at that and thought, well, all you're doing is just being Mr. Nice Guy, and you can never say anything. You can never express yourself.
Well, let me tell you what you do. If you have somebody that is your friend this way, and you're their friend, and you've got this friend that you kind of like each other, but the friend has a dominant edge. Usually the one of you other. You'll find that the people you need approval from, you cannot say no to. Who understands that? Because when they do, eventually they'll do something wrong. They're going to test you. They're going to step over the bound and ask you for something that you shouldn't be doing. And ask you for something that you shouldn't be doing. Like, could you lend me £10,000? They know you have it. And you're so dependent on them liking you, your whole framework has become addicted to them liking you, that even though you know you shouldn't lend it to them, addicted to them liking you, that even though you know you shouldn't lend it to them, you'll lend it to them. Who understands that? You cannot say no, because you are totally dependent on that person being your friend. Your friend buffers the guilt that you have. You made them a god, and you're seeking love from the wrong god. And you cannot stand the frown of disapproval from this wrong god, because it creates pain in you. What this pain is when they disapprove of you, they're pulling away the approval they gave to you. That's hypnotic. Whenever somebody asks you for something, and you feel a little funny feeling in your solar plexus, pay attention to that. You're being manipulated. Because what's going on your head is felt in the heart. So the nerve center there that reflects what's going on in your head. By the way, that also makes you want to eat, because it makes you feel empty there. But the emptiness is up here. Your food problems stem from that similar process, being upset and eating. See? Who knows what I'm talking about? Can you stand up so everyone can hear you? Let me just, because I don't. I tell you what we got. Hello. I'll come over here and you can hear it.
If I do not give in to them, I feel.
I'll come over here and you can hear it.
If I do not give in to them, I feel guilty afterwards, and I find myself now getting aggressive if I don't want to give them. I just say no, in an aggressive way, and I find I turn my head, even if the person is my friend, because they have asked me to do what I don't want to do.
But then if you take that to its logical conclusion, if you say no with anger, could it not also follow that the anger turns to guilt and you give it anyway?
Yes.
Thank you very much. See, what if you try to say no in a wrong way, it intensifies the guilt. And then sooner or later, the way you relieve the guilt is to give the money, because you associate the guilt with the money you didn't give. The guilt is caused by the anger. The angry way you said no. You didn't say no because it was right to say no. I had a friend of mine, You didn't say no because it was right to say no. I had a friend of mine who said, I was just about 22 years old, but I was way ahead of most people when I was 22. So I went to Miami, had a busboy's job, and I stayed in his honey. We didn't have much money at the time. He says to me one day, lend me $50. I want to go. I said, what do you want it for? He said, I want to go to the racetrack. I said, you can't have it. See, he thought that he's doing something nice for me, that I should do something nice for him. That doesn't follow. Something nice for him, that doesn't follow. It doesn't necessarily, I'll do something nice if I think it's nice. He said, I thought you were my friend. I said, I am. You're not going to get your $50. That's a friend. What? Well, he threw me out. That's all right. I mean, it's thrown out. It's thrown out of worse places than that. So, the thing is, you have to say right. You have to say no because you know it's wrong. And you know you shouldn't give it to them because they've wasted their money. You know, my kids ask me money, and I say, what have you done with your money? Haven't I told you to save it? Well, attitude. If I had given in at that moment and given them the money in the weakness, because I thought, oh, I'm a loving parent, I should give them money. Poor little darlings. Not considering that they wasted it. Saying, look, I've told you about your money, you wasted it. I told you about your money, you wasted it. Well, I want to start my own business. Good. Go walk down the street, and you don't have a car, hitchhike and go and start your own business. So, the thing is, if I had given in at that point, my children wouldn't be where they are today. They love me for saying no. At that point, my children wouldn't be where they are today. They love me for saying no to them. If I'd have said yes, it was to be yes to their weakness. My wife encourages, whenever my son has a little suffering, she naturally want to run and make him comfortable. I said, get back. Don't you feel sorry? Don't you feel sorry? I have to stop her cuddling him. She'll kill him. She'll destroy him. I must not even allow that to happen. See, so saying no to them is love. I told you 16 years old now, you didn't want to go to school, you're a surfing bum. I found out the guys he was going with are all bums. I thought surfing was a nice clean thing. I didn't know what was going on. Drugs and God knows what. So I found out about it. Said then, I'm giving you a roof over your head, economic security. You don't want to go to school, but you've got to make something. I love my son. I don't want to throw him out of the house. I said, but you've got to find yourself a job or start your own business or find yourself a trade, and I will support you. But I'm not going. You're not a welfare queen, a king, and I'm not here to serve your ego needs like that. So you have a choice. You've got 6 months. My son wouldn't be where he is today if I had continued making sure he was secure and was never out of pocket and never uncomfortable. And these are my sons, and they're grateful to this day, and I've put a soul in them. I've developed that part of them that God wanted, and that is a soul in them. I've developed that part of them that God wanted, and that is their good fortune. The trouble is with you as parents, that's your children's bad fortune. You don't know these things. The wife ruins them, and the husband lets it happen because he wants to be one of the kids and get spoiled too. Is that right? Eat that.
What do you think about birthday presents and Christmas presents to children?
I don't give them. This is what I say in Christmas time. I say to everybody, I'm not giving presents for Christmas time because I don't want to obligate you. That's not fair to obligate you. If you want to buy me a Christmas present, thank you very much. I'll take it. That's right. So I don't get any Christmas presents from anybody. But I got my kids. I've relieved them of the obligation, the compulsion to give me something. I've relieved them of the obligation, the compulsion to give me something. I've relieved myself of the compulsion to give something back. Therefore, at Christmas time, I'm the only one that's not broke. I have a future. Those stupid Asses over there giving their money away. They can't help themselves. They got to give. They got to buy something. Asses over there giving their money away. They can't help themselves. They got to give. They got to buy something. Useless things. Rushing around like chickens, like their head cut off, trying to fulfill a suggestion, which is pressure on Christmas time to give. You want?
You can buy presents for people spontaneously.
Yeah, not presents. Not presents. Give the times. There are times when I give a person a compliment, it's worth something. Because I don't give compliments. It has a value.
So there's those of us who don't celebrate Christmas at all, or birthdays, and they come to me all.
No, I don't celebrate. But I might. I might get, you know, no, it's my daughter's birthday, and she doesn't expect it. That's the important thing. See, I'm free to give it to her if I want to. It's not an occasion where I'm under compulsion to do it. That's not right. No, listen, 3-year-old and 4-year-old, big deal. I'm not saying it with 3 and 4. When they get older. If they want a Christmas tree, I'm not saying it with 3 and 4. When they get older. If they want a Christmas tree, they can have it. I'm not buying one. Let them go out cut in the woods and cut one down. I mean, it's okay as long as I say, now this Christmas tree, you bought it, you put lights on it, okay. If you want to do whatever, that's not a Christmas ritual. Don't mistake this for Christmas. You can have a tree in the house. I'm not rigid, you see. My wife likes to make a Christmas tree, and I come in with Christmas on. It's kind of cheery and all the rest of it. It's all right. I'm not impressed by rituals, you see. I'm totally happy in myself all the time. I can sit under a tree and be happy. But I have to be talking to somebody. Yes. I talk to the tree. Grab this. Grab this.
I find that my problem is that I can't get a sense of proportion in my work, so that my people-pleasing comes out when I'm asked to do something. I give an unrealistic, and then I resent it.
Well, that's when you get the energy to function.
Yes.
And that's when you become corrupted by your own resentment.
Mm-hmm. But I find it difficult.
And then after a while you resent it so much you don't want to do it. And you don't want to do it, you can't do it. And
Yeah.
then pretty soon you get drunk because nothing happens.
Or get
You
sick.
can't-
Yeah.
I don't mean to say that you would get drunk, but that's how it happened to people. Thank you. You see how everything relates back to one thing. It's the inner. And not be, see, he says she can't, her need to please people, her need for ego satisfaction, and her need for ego satisfaction. And she's very good at her work. I'm sure she's a very bright lady. She's a good lawyer and all the rest of it. And so therefore people look at her and have lots of trust in her. And on top of that, I'm quite sure when she was a little girl, that she was eager to please. Let me take it away from you, and let me take it to something that sort of everybody can relate to. Mama doesn't want to take care of the kids. You're 10 years old, and she just doesn't want to take care of the kids. She wants to go to work, so she appoints you to take care of the siblings, the 2-year-olds of the siblings, the 2-year-olds, the 3-year-olds. And you're a little girl, you want to go out and play. So you resent it. You resent your mom, but you also have always resented your mom. She's always put pressures on you to do things that you weren't ready to do, but you always did it. Now she puts this heavy load on you. You resent it. Resentment makes you guilty. The guilt makes you say, okay, Mom, I'll do it, to get Mama's love. Now you start to resent the kids, see, to do it. You don't do a good job, but anyway, you do what you may do such a good job trying to get the approval of your mom. So devoted, so loyal are you, so reliable are you, and this will translate into later life being a good secretary. You see, that your mom will give you a reward. Your mom will give you a reward for that. Your mother will tell you what a wonderful little girl you are. And then start to depend upon you doing things for her that she should do for herself, oh, you start resenting it. You can't say anything about it. Again, you do it even better. And Mama gives you approval. You do it so well, you're doing it 15 hours a day instead of 1 hour a day. You're still doing it. You're actually the parent of these kids. And your mother never was the parent. Now, your whole life now, your sense of pride and duty and doing something well is what you are. Now you go to school or you go to a job and the boss finds out that he can put more work on you than anybody else, and you'll do it, and you'll look like you're so happy to do it for him. He loves you for that. He walks away and leaves the do it for him. He loves you for that. He walks away and leaves the business to you, and it's just more than you can handle. He's not paying you enough, but you're afraid to ask him for more money. Don't want to hurt his feelings. You see that? And then you have a nervous breakdown. Nobody ever understands why. You have all this anger and resentment, but you got the anger and energy, but you're doing it, and it's taking more and more out of you. But nobody knows what's going on secretly inside you, right? Is that what you are? How did it start with you? Yeah.
It started really, I know now it started because I knew that my parents did not. And I don't think they were able to really love. And I think I knew that from an early age, but internalized it and resented it. And it came out in later life, of course, but it helped. Now that I realize it, it explains a lot of my behavior, a lot of my people-pleasing, it explains a lot of my behavior, a lot of my people-pleasing, a lot of my obsessive behavior about things which really are quite good in themselves, but
yes.
Because I'm obsessive, I make them
Yes.
bad. Work, I'm obsessive about work. I seem to set standards which are so high, it's hard for me to reach them without putting stress on myself.
Which is a distraction from the pain in you.
Which, yes,
It gives you a new goal, a new sense of a new rush of achievement,
Yeah.
of being responsible, loved, respected.
Yeah. But it's really in work that it shows more than
It wasn't quite like the example I gave, but your parents didn't love you, and you felt you needed love from a parent, and you made everybody a parent, and you became the good child to every. Is that right?
Yes, but I never ever
There it is
believed-
again.
Yes.
See, he's right back again.
But I never ever believed anybody loved me, because my parents didn't love me.
And you're damned if you didn't get it, see? Because eventually, by making yourself so lovable and ready available to do things for everybody, to being the good child for the good parents, which your bosses were and your teachers were, right? That eventually they made you do too much. And afterwards you secretly hated them. Great you were, you couldn't believe it. Is that right? Is that right? See? You believe they were lying to you. What a confusion that sows in you. And you see? I have a slide rule. I can write you the page of your life. Once I get to know you just a little bit, I can write you your page. It's important for me that you see it for yourself. You try that again. You're not finished yet.
I've just realized now why it is that I never believe them when they compliment me. I think it is that I never believe them when they compliment me. I think they're just saying that to get me to work harder. But in fact, they probably do mean it.
They probably do mean it, so you couldn't accept it. But there are honestly innocent people in your life, that your parents that you've appointed to be the good child, that are genuine. That are genuine. They really think that you're doing it because you really want to. If they knew that you were looking for approval and then you thought to yourself, they're really saying that to make me do it. That's you. That's your own projection. You know? Right, isn't it?
Yeah.
You think you can be over that soon? How can you be over it? Stop resenting them, because you see that's the key. What did I tell you that the emotion, resentment is a hypnotic emotion? That resentment connects you to an idea. Give you an idea. Shall I give you an idea to that? All this stuff is coming from. I got 2 more days to go yet. A woman has. Now remember, Emotion can be self-suggestion. It doesn't have to be emotion, someone hurting you, and then picking up what they think about you. See? Picking up what they think about you. See? For instance, someone can say, you're a no good SOB. You get upset. Well, you become a no good SOB for two reasons. One, being upset makes you inferior, makes you an SOB. In other words, you're picking up the identity of the SOB who's calling you an SOB. You see you're behaving like an SOB, and then you say, well, maybe they're right, I am an SOB, so now you take up the label. The words didn't really do it so much as your reaction did it. And it locked it in. But let me show you a self-suggestion. A lady sees a child choking to death on a grape. She panics. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon on July the 4th. You'll see why I say this in a minute. She starts to get upset. Oh my God, my baby. And she panics, and she gets upset. But the grape is dislodged and everything passes. A year goes by, 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon on July the 4th. She's gripped with a feeling of choking. Because if you look back in the past, you'll hear what she really thought at that moment. Let it be me! So it didn't happen then, it was all over at that time. 3 o'clock has passed. You have to wait 3 o'clock till...
For more information, please write to FHU 27 Old Gloucester Street, London, WC1N 3XX, or email FHU United Kingdom @AOL.com.